Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Bakht channel. I'm Bakhtawar, I'm a Pakistani Booktuber, and I know that in each video I say that I'm going to be more consistent with my uploads, but since my last video, the world kind of turned into Raccoon City. Who remembers the Resident Evil movies? I mean, they were sort of good, weren't they? Anyway, today's topic is why children should read, why parents should inculcate the reading habit. And it's the perfect time. Everyone's in lockdown, everyone's sort of staying safe, staying indoors. It's the perfect time to sort of create the habit in children if you know they're not on it already. I'm just gonna So I'm going to start my argument, if you will, with a very short story, and you'll see why in a minute. When I was about 8 or 9, I came across this book, the storybook that I bought from an old bookstore, and it was called The Girl of the Coconut Tree. And it was this wonderful story, which really stayed with me, well, till my present day in life. And it was about this girl whose name was Niang, and she lives on an island where where drought has hit, and obviously there's no water and everybody's leaving. And she digs a well, and she keeps digging it day and night, and often fainting in the process. And she's sometimes accompanied by her younger sister, who's sort of lazy. But anyway, so most of the people leave the island. She keeps trying to dig the well, keeps trying to find water. And one day a merchant comes on shore, and he says to the younger sister, leave all of this, just come away with me. I've got gold and pearls, and I'm a really rich man, and you live like a queen. And the younger sister, sort of blinded by greed, agrees. But before she's leaving, Niang says to her, we must earn happiness by our own hard work. What he is offering is an illusion, and everything. And she sort of just shrugs her older sister and leaves. So Niang is overcome with sorrow and grief, but she keeps digging the well, and eventually she finds water. And because she has found water in those circumstances and through her own sweat, she is elevated to the status of a phoenix. And then eventually she's made into this coconut tree, which sort of floods the island with, I don't know, untold reservoirs of fresh water, and people start coming back to live on the island, and everything turns out fine. And the younger sister, who had taken the easy way out, is sold as a slave, and then eventually she kills herself by drowning. And well, I mean, obviously I can see now that's probably a very disturbing story for an 8-year-old. So this was one of many hundreds of books that I read as a child, but it really stayed with me. And I think that's very characteristic of childhood reading. They're so essential for building character, for building integrity. Nowadays I see children, they're sort of hooked on their devices. If you talk to them, they don't respond, and they're getting dumber and dumber. I mean, I know people sort of, because of the internet, you see people, babies speaking French, I don't know, whatever else. But I really feel that children are, in the important ways, getting dumber, even if they've sort of figured out how to use technology. Well, far from children, even grown people that you come across, at least, I mean, if I was to talk about Pakistan, most people that you come across, when you're studying or you're working, they're kind of, I'm not talking about some 0.5% that does read, but the rest, they only read if, you can establish a cause and effect relationship between reading and earning money somehow. And lots of people, they give, competitive exams to secure a better job or whatever, and they'll read for that often, but they'll read at no other time in their life. So, I tend to think that it's a societal mindset now that unless something results in earning or financial gain, people tend to not go after it. And they kind of cover it up with this spirit of, being an entrepreneur or whatever. But reading is a difficult habit to pick up if you're already an adult and then you're thinking about it. And I would say that despite popular opinion, there's no gym or neurobics or podcasts or what have you. There's nothing out there that is at the same level as reading. There's nothing out there that's going to develop and grow your mind and personality as much as reading is going to do. I don't care what anybody tells you. And that's especially true in the case of children, because they're always learning and absorbing. And this is the time when you, as a parent, it's your duty really to get them into reading, because right now they're figuring out who they are and all their traits are falling into place. And this is the time. I think I stole the last bit maybe from Mr. Darcy. Remember that line? The improvement of one's mind by extensive reading. Oh, he was nice. Whenever I talk about childhood reading, I'm reminded a lot of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, because she always had you know, a stack of books every time that I would visit, and she would give them to me as presents, and she would buy, you know, the pricier ones, the hardback ones with sometimes handmade illustrations. I mean, she's really the one who got me into it, really, and introduced me to the world of reading. So I'm going to be eternally grateful to her. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay indoors, and I hope everyone's well. I'll see you soon. I'm definitely going to try to be more consistent.